Hey YouTube, it's Taki with TaqiTech, episode 6 here. Walking the Happy Path Part 1. So this is going to be the first episode where we talk about just walking the happy path, no break times, no task times, and our complex timesheet. And I'm going to talk about an Excel function, Excel method called DateDiff, or DateDiff, DateDiff. So here we go to the project Explorer here. So when I basically looked at the project, I found a couple of things that I was able to use, but I decided just to do a whole new main routine. And right now, I'm not completely done with, and that's the reason why there's a part 1, to probably be a part 2 and a part 3, at least, of the Happy Path. I haven't completely finished the Happy Path programming yet, but I do have 4 lines of code and a bunch of comments at this point. First thing I did was I dimmed the total time as integer, and I don't need this anymore. I can get rid of this. Actually, that was something older. And then I dimmed a public variable. So this is a project-wide variable, current row, and I declared it and I initialized it as equal to 1. It's an integer. And I'm putting a comment here right next to it saying that I'm using this in the main method. If I only end up using it in one module, and I'm using it in the main module, if I only end up using it in one module, then I will change that to a private variable so that it's only accessible to the methods within the module. The next line of code calls a clear sheet subroutine. Basically, it says clear all printable ranges. And I said for now it's B2 and also B3. I didn't think about B3. We'll get there in just a second. In the area F2 through K10. So let's take a look at the spreadsheet real quick. So here is, and I'm going to make this bigger here. So here's B2. Here's B2 and here's B3. So we're going to clear out the total hours and the number of hours left to a total of 8 hours. And then we're going to clear out F2 through K, probably should be K11. Let me update that right here, even though it really doesn't matter. I think when we take a look at the actual subroutine, it will say K11. We'll keep that in mind. The next line of code says calculate and print total time. So let's start running this so that we can jump into these different subroutines here. So here we go. Current row now equals 1. We're going to the clear sheet subroutine. In the clear sheet subroutine, we have 2 subroutines that are called. One called clear daily and the one called clear old schedule. So starting off with clear daily, we're clearing out values B2, or cells B2 and B3. So if we go here, let me bring this here and let me make this a little bit bigger here. And then I'm going to get rid of the VBA project, Explorer, and properties. Bring back the spreadsheet here. Okay, so hopefully this will look a lot better. This 8.5 should be gone here. Oh, you know what? Let's see here. Don't press stop. All right, let's do this here. Okay. So this should be I wish I could make the code bigger for you guys, and maybe I will when we start talking about date difference. I might throw it on a Word document so I can increase the font size. So here we go. We're going to start stepping through this. So first thing we're going to do, we call the clear daily subroutine, and we clear out B2. And if there was anything in B3, let me write something in B3 real quick. Clear me. Okay, that was not what I wanted, but it will work for this example. There you go. See, they're both cleared out. And so we go out of there, and then we're going to clear the old schedule. And we don't need this right here. We could get rid of. And we do need to say K11. This needs to change to K11. So here we go again. We're going to go jump into that. We'll look down here. If there was values in there and there currently isn't, they would be cleared out, but we can kind of see here. So in this subroutine, we have 6 lines of code. We have an if statement, basically saying, first off, we select the range F2 through K11, cells F2 through K11, and then with that selection, we clear out the value. We change the border line style to none, so it doesn't have any border lines, and we change the index. We change the color of it to equal nothing as well. So there we cleared out our sheet. Now we're going to jump into calculate and print total time. So first thing, and we can see that I brought that right here. I took it. I'm not sure if it belongs to the calculate or print module. If we end up separating it out in modules, maybe I might just keep it right here with new main, because it's kind of doing both. So first off, we start with an integer variable called work minutes, and to get the work minutes, I call a subroutine that I made called get time period. And what I'm passing in to the subroutine is the row and column number for the first cell and the row and column number for the second cell. So here we have row 1, column 2. So that's row 1, column 2, B2. Row 1, column 4, D2. So we're looking at the difference between B2 and D2. And that's probably where we're going to go next here with a date difference. So here we go. And basically, here's the function. And basically what I'm saying in date difference is give me the number of minutes. That's what this quotation n, lowercase n quotation means. Let me bring this in so we can see the full statement here. So get me the difference between cells B1 and D1. So get me the difference in minutes. And here we go here. And now we got the difference in minutes. And we should see that it's 510 minutes. And if we go take a look right here, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. is 8 hours plus another 30 minutes. So we got the 30 minutes at the side. And then we're going to take 8 by 6, 480. So we should get 510. And that's what we have here. Now we're going to say print total time, another subroutine that I wrote that I kind of also inherited. And I inherited some of these subroutines, and you see me actively refactoring them as we go along, and I've refactored a lot of them too. So basically what I'm passing in into print total time is worked minutes versus total break. I'm just going to leave that there because we're eventually going to need that. And that's actually the last line of code within this subroutine. So now we're going to the print total time subroutine that I wrote myself, passing in the worked minutes. Here we're going to set active sheet B2, so we're going to give that value to B2 now. We're just going to take the worked minutes and divide it by 60. 60 minutes equals an hour. We get 8.5 hours. There's an if statement here. If the worked minutes divided by 60 are greater than 8, so if I worked more than 8 hours, then I don't need to do the rest. If I did work more than 8 hours, then I need to print something to B3. So we're going to skip over that for right now. And the next one is going to say, it's going to go here, and we're going to print 8.5 hours to the appropriate date. And today is January 28th. So here we go, and I wrote a function here called daily tracker row, and here it is right here. Let's jump right into it. And basically, I have 5 lines of code here, and I start off by dimming a variable, an integer called row counter, and I initialize that to 12. So we're starting with row 12, and we're going to look at the values in F12, F13, F14 until we get to the day that we need. And if we take a look at the whole do loop, so here's a do until loop. So it's basically saying do until this value in the F column equals today's date. So if do until date, which equals today, so that's a keyword within VBA. If you ever write date, you're going to get today's date until this cell equals date. Or we get to 17, which means that we went through all 5 dates and none of them were today's date. So we're going to exit the loop then, but this should exit right away, I believe at 12. And it does. So we're going to get a row counter equal to 12. We're going to pass it back. And how you do that in VBA with a function is you take the daily name of the function. This one is called daily row tracker. And you equal it to whatever variable, whatever number you want to pass back. And unlike other languages, the function does not end when you pass back the variable. In a lot of other languages, the function ends when you pass back the variable, so then you don't read the other lines of code. In VB, you will continue to go through the other lines of code. So we're hitting end function, and now we come back here, and we should see that this equals 8.5 even though it already did. So actually, let me delete this out here, just to show you guys that it actually does work. I'm just going to bring this up a couple steps. We're going to just quickly run through it again. And, oops, pressing F9 instead of F8. Here we go. So now we should see 8.5 again. So now you know that it works. And I think, let's see here, I think that's it for what I've written so far. And what I wanted to talk about in this video, the second thing I wanted to talk about was the date difference. So let me get my Project Explorer back up here. Let's go into main here. Let's just go down here. Just gonna sub date diff test. Okay. So basically, so the first thing you can do is you could say interval. And there's several different things you can do here. You could do, if you just want the year, and let's say, so what we need is 2 dates here. So I'm going to, actually that's going to be kind of dumb if I do the year here. Let me see if I got, okay. So that's the year, quarter. Let me see if it returns the number of months. So basically, and I'll put this link into the description too, just looking at Microsoft's explanation of how the function works. And what I used was N for minutes. Let's do hours. So let's do H. Oh, let's do weeks. I want to do one that's not time, that's outside of times, hours and minutes, and then I want to do one that's like kind of hours and minutes. So let's do weeks. So let's put in the first date. I believe I could just do this. Let me see here. So interval of string, date 1, date 2. Okay. So this would be weeks. And let's do this. And then, so you've got your 2 dates in, and then it says the first day of the week, and you could do VB Sunday, Monday. You could just say what you want the first day of the week as, and the first week of the year is also another flag that you could, or a variable that you could pass in as well. And you could take a look. Let me see here. So it is VB or val. You could do 0 for 1 for Sunday and through 7 through Saturday, or 0 for the NLS API setting. That's just to use whatever the system is, your current system is using. And so start with the week that, and this tells you what week you want the year to start with. If you're using more or less like maybe a quarterly type, where you want to return the quarter on a date difference. So here we go here, and hopefully So I don't think we need any more of these optional. And you know it's optional when you see the hard braces between them. These are optional options, but what you do need is you need to put an interval in, regardless if it's weeks, minutes, hours, seconds, what have you, into two dates. The only question I have is whether or not the dates need to be in quotations or not. I guess we'll find out in just a second. Yeah, we need to throw this into a variable. So we call this weeks, and just for good programming purposes, we're just going to dim weeks as int. I don't think it's going to be a double. I don't think we're going to have a percentage or anything like that. So let's run this and let's see what we get here. So yeah, and here we go again. Here, what I thought was we need to throw this in because I have one of my teachers. He said he never used the variable type date while working in VBA because he just used strings. He didn't see any use of using the variable type date. And it's kind of interesting here because it looks like you would need to pass this in as a string, the date as a string. So that's a discussion for another time. So let's run this. Let's see what we get here. So weeks equals, so there's 2,200 weeks since my date of birth. Yeah, I'm old. So 2,200 weeks since my date of birth. Let's pass another. Let me see here. So let's say I initially wrote this project. I could probably find the date if I really look, but let's say I wrote it on January 10th, 2016. And let's run this real quick. So this project is 107 weeks old. It's getting a big facelift right now. Okay. Now let's change this to, and we're just going to keep it as weeks. Well, let's change it to minutes. Let's change it to hours. Let's see how many hours the project is old. And I think hours are just H. So hours. And this project is 17,976 hours old. So, and I think S is seconds. If you want to go back, let's see how many. I might need to change this to a lawn actually. So this is a good good test here for. So let's just rewrite this whole thing. I think it's going to make me reset the project though. Seconds as long. So data types basically. So my old teacher said he didn't use the data type, and basically the integer can only go. I can't remember off the top of my head. So high, and then you were going to need to declare a long just because it gets to be so long and it gets to be so big. So let's see here. I should actually have left it. Yeah, I'm going to reset the project. I should have left it. You know what? Another digression. This is why I don't get projects done. Seconds as int. I'm going to see. Oh, yeah, I'm starting to revert to different programming languages and everything else here. Int. Okay. Let's see if it blows it up. Yep, overflow. That's what I thought. So basically what overflow meant here was, hey, the value you want to put into seconds is bigger than what an integer can hold. So let me try something here. Let me do this. I wonder if this works. If this is a VBA thing. Something I might have done before in VBA. No. I try to cast it as a long. That's a topic for another day. Let's just put it as a long here and end this video because this video is getting to be rather long. So here, this should work now. So basically, a long could hold a higher number than what integers can hold, and I think the value is like 37,000. So if you have a number that's bigger than, don't look this up on Google. Don't quote me this directly, but it's like 37,000. So if you have a number that's bigger than 37,000. Then you need to use a long instead of an integer. So let's see what we get here. And for seconds we got, wow. So we have, is this, yeah, 64,713,600. Yeah, that's a lot of seconds that this project has been old. So, and this episode has been old too. So I apologize for the digression there, guys. I hope you learned something from it. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. We will talk about. We'll either finish the happy path, or there might be one other digression that I might have a chance to show you guys something like DateDiff. Now, DateDiff is not a function that I wrote that comes with Excel, and that's the reason why I wanted to go into depth on it. So, until next time, take it easy.